Welcome back, students. So in this video, we're going to look at day one of the coding for our Maze Game Scratch Challenge and focus on challenge one. So let's jump into Scratch. And I've gone in and made a new clear slate floors. And we need to draw our square or our rectangle in the background. So I'm going to click over in the stage area. I'm going to come up to Paint. And you'll notice that that opens up the tab that now says Backdrops. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the vector drawing. You can tell by looking down here. If you click on this blue button, when it says Convert to Bitmap, it'll move you over to bitmap drawing. You see everything's a lot of dots, very jagged. I want to make sure that I'm in vector so it's nice and smooth. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and draw a rectangle. And I want it to be hollow with a nice solid border. So we'll pick the color, come down to no fill, and then pick the outline, make sure it's black. And then I'm going to come over to the size of the outline and make it about 50. Oh, that's 100. That's a little more than I want. Let's try 15. All right, so now we have a nice black rectangle. Let's make our sprite get stuck inside of it. So since I'm now going to be coding on the sprite, I want to click on my sprite and click on Code. And let's start by making our cat move. There's many different ways you can code this. I'm going to use if-then statements. So I'm going to pull out an if-then statement and say if, go down to sensing, if the up arrow key is pressed, then come over to motion. With the up arrow key, that's going to be on the Y axis. So I'm going to want to change my Y by whatever number I choose. In this case, I'm going to choose 10. And if I run the code now, it's only going to run this one time. Well, I want the sprite to go up every time I hit the up arrow. So I'm going to put this in a forever loop. So now when I click the green flag, forever, the whole time the program's running, if I hit the up arrow, then my sprite goes up. So let's test this. And I'm hitting my up arrow, and the sprite's going up. That helps. That's good. We got our cat moving. But the problem here is that it can still move right through the maze. So now what we have to do is we have to code it to say if the cat hits the maze, it doesn't go through. And I'm going to do this with a second if-then. And I'm going to say if the cat is touching this color, so if touching, and then when I click on the color, it lets me pick a color. In this case, I could go all the way black because we made it all the way black. But just to be safe, I'm going to use this color sampler. It's called an eyedropper tool. And you see it gives me this nice magnifying glass, lets me pick whatever color I want. And I'm going to click on the actual black that's in the outside of our box here. So if touching the color of our box, then let's go up to motion. Many people are going to want move by 0 steps or try to stop or something along these lines. But remember, it's moving 10 steps forward, then checking to see if it touched. So we've got to have it move back. All right, so we had it go up by 10. What we're going to do now is have it go back -10 anytime it hits this line. So let's run our code now, and you see when the cat goes up, as I hit the arrow over and over, it's not going through the line. It may look like the cat stopped here, But what's actually happening is this code is read at about 1,000 times a second. So it's actually going forward 10 and back 10, but it's doing it so fast we can't see it. All right, so how do we make it work for the down? Well, I'm going to use my right mouse button, click duplicate, and make a copy of it. And this time I'm going to say if the down arrow is pressed, we want to change our Y by -10 because we're going down. And when it hits the wall, I want it to go up 10. So let's run our code. Now when I go down, the cat's stuck. When I go up, the cat's stuck. And all I need to do now is duplicate these for left and right. So I'm going to right click and duplicate. Say right arrow key. And we don't want to change our Y this time. We want to change the X because right and left are on the X. So when we go right, we want it to be +10. And if it hits the wall, come back 10. And let's duplicate that again. And for left arrow key, go -10. And when it bounces, come +10. All right, let's run our code and let's test it. When I go down, I'm stuck. When I go up, I'm stuck. When I go right, I'm stuck. And when I go left, I'm stuck. And with this code, let me zoom back in on the first one for you. And with this code here and changing it for the 4 different arrow keys, you now have the cat where it cannot go through the wall of your maze.